This is your Daily Detroit for Monday, June 4th. I'm Sven Gustafson.
And I'm Jer Stays. It's a beautiful day at Grant Park in Royal Oak.
That's right, we're recording al fresco today from the shelter of a giant oak tree because it's windy. And Jer, being outside here in the great outdoors, it suits your joie de vivre lately. I noticed you got like a little bit of a Mackinac Island afterglow, man. It must have been that pineapple shirt you had on yesterday.
Well, today's show is staying fun and positive. We're talking about Arts, Beats, and Eats returning, a festival that brings more than 330,000 people to downtown Royal Oak.
Also, a new office and residential development has opened up in Corktown.
For fancy folks, Jimmy Choo's has opened their first Michigan store today.
And we talk with soccer journalist Fletcher Sharpe to catch up on all things Detroit City FC.
Your Daily Detroit is brought to you today in part by two fine companies and people like you.
First, Repurpose. Get hired by Detroit's best startups and companies. Join their talent community at repurpose.co. That's repurpose.co.
Second, Milo.agency. Milo is a marketing agency that produces amazing experiences for audiences. They partner with their clients to drive business and create innovative content. Do cool stuff with them and talk to Billy at Milo.agency. Yet another mixed-use building has opened up in the city of Detroit. This time, it's in the hot Corktown neighborhood. The development is called The Assembly. It was put together by, well, you guessed it, Dan Gilbert's Bedrock Real Estate. Here are the details. The $39 million development on Fort Street near Rosa Parks has 32 apartments, 80,000 square feet of office space, and nearly 8,000 square feet of retail. The project received $6 million in historic tax credits. If you want to live in this one, it'll set you back between $1,500 and $6,500 a month. That depends on whether you're going for a 750 square foot one bedroom or a penthouse with a 1,200 square foot terrace. That said, for new development, $1,500 a month isn't out of line for what folks are charging and getting, and it is a pretty cool looking building. I'd say your nearest fun spots might be Green Dot Stables, Mudgee's, and Batch Brewing, all in walking distance. Luxury retailer Jimmy Choo's has opened their first location in the state of Michigan. It's over at Somerset Collection in Troy. Jimmy Choo's is known for shoes, but the brand also carries a bunch of other accessories like bags and sunglasses that I can't afford. But maybe you can, or just window shop. You'll find it next to the Saks Fifth Avenue.
Detroit City FC is now 5 games into the NPSL regular season. Rouge are on a run of 3 consecutive clean sheets and 2 straight wins following a 3-0 victory at home Sunday against FC Columbus. With the result, City now have 3 wins to go with 1 loss and a draw. They're in second place in the NPSL Great Lakes Division. Fans will be hoping that Rouge are hitting their stride with Sunday's win. That's because the team got off to a bit of a slow start this season and struggled to score goals early on. I spoke with Detroit-based soccer journalist Fletcher Sharpe last week before the match with Columbus about the team's early season form. I think a lot of people have interpreted this as a shaky start by City. What do you say to that?
I wouldn't say that necessarily, just because they had a similar start to their 2017 season, and they ended up winning the Midwest Regional Championship. And kind of as I said before, odd years they have great finishes, even years they don't. So I'm not really worried until he reaches the midway point. When they reach the midway point, they're still kind of maybe I'll start to worry then.
What are your observations about their play so far, 4 games into the season? What are you seeing from them?
They're still feeling out their formation. Last year they played with 4 people in the back. This year they're playing more of like a 3-5-2 or more like a 5-3-2. So 5 defenders or 3 defenders, depending on where the wings are. Mm-hmm. And they have some people in positions who are not finding their footing where they're supposed to be. So that's going to be some adjustment period. I know they had some friendlies to work through, but still you get some newer faces as the season progresses. I know they have the Founders Cup, so they have more players coming in, whereas normally it's like we have our roster, we're set. They might get a few more new faces who need to figure out where they need to be. So it's going to be a bit of an adjustment period still. So
this, of course, is the first season under their new head coach, Trevor James. What has James said so far, and is he trying to do anything differently with the team from his predecessor, Ben Pierman?
I mean, aside from the switch from a back 4 to a back 3, I like Trevor. I like Ben too. I like Trevor. Trevor's very like he takes the onus on himself if something doesn't happen. I know after the tie with Ann Arbor, he was like, I should have made some changes in certain situations, and I didn't, and that's on me. The players played the best way that they could, and I give my hats off to them. If I'd made a few more changes, I think we would have had a better result. But in a change from Ben to Trevor, it's the same mentality, but Trevor's system, since it's three in the back and more of emphasis on possession, they try to work the little triangles where it's you make a pass and next time you get the ball, there should be two people next to you who should be open. So he tries to build the ball up the field slowly. He has a few players who can kind of kick it up the field and just knock it up there for somebody, but he likes to try to build possession in the middle and work it down slowly and get your shots that way.
A reminder, that interview took place before Sunday's 3-0 win over FC Columbus. City got goals from Sean Lawson, Musa Giai, and Cyrus Sadie. The team returns to action on Friday when they host FC Indiana at Keyworth Stadium in Hamtramck. First kick is at 7:30 p.m. One of the region's largest festivals is Arts, Beats, and Eats, held in downtown Royal Oak each Labor Day weekend. It draws more than 330,000 people across 4 days of fun and festivities. Jarrett, you went over to Oakland Community College today to check out the press preview. I remember when it was held in downtown Pontiac. I was working in downtown Pontiac at the time. That was quite the controversial move when they pulled up stakes to come down here.
Well, it seems like they found their stride down here in downtown Royal Oak. And Arts, Beats, and Eats is a big deal to a lot of people. And I mean, I have some memories myself. Seeing Sponge, remember Sponge back in the day? They're still actually popping around.
Oh, yeah.
And Ben Folds, of all people, last year.
Tickling the ivories, huh?
It was a good show.
Yeah, I might have to make it up there if there are some good bands playing. But I can always hear them playing from my house down near 8 Mile and Woodward in Ferndale, actually.
You know, if you can hear it a few miles away, it's a good party. They didn't announce the music lineup today, which I'm kind of disappointed about. But I will say there's always a lot of local acts to go with the bigger names. But I did catch up with John Witz, producer of the event. You've been at this for a few years now. What's the most exciting thing about pulling this festival together for you?
Well, I think it's a spirit of collaboration, and we announced a lot of that today with some great corporate partnerships. Soaring Eagle stepping in as title sponsor, Flagstar Bank is presenting, Oakland Community College, a big stakeholder in Royal Oak, bringing so much to the table, and Delta Dental supporting our work with children with autism and adults with autism.
One of the things listening to the event that I thought, or the press event, was really interesting was all that support around children with autism. I know it's a personal subject for you, but also this is a really cool program that they're doing. Can you talk more about it?
Sure. So there's two aspects. The first is that we host 2,400 kids and family members, kids with autism and family members, for free lunch, free parking, free admission, and free carnival rides. We also open the festival an hour early, as those kids often have sensory issues with large crowds. So excited to bring that back. And then we're taking it to a new level. All of this thanks to Delta Dental, where we're hosting artists with autism in a program called Upbound with Art, where artists will not only get to display their work and sell their work, which is spectacular, some examples are here today, but they will also learn the business of being an artist and going to art fairs and selling to galleries, and we'll get key coaching, and that's all courtesy of the Autism Alliance and Delta Dental.
I know that some people might be like, well, I've been to Arts, Beats, and Eats before. I've done it before. Kind of what's new this year? I understand you've got a new restaurant tied into this whole thing. Can you talk more about that?
Sure. Fogo de Chão of Troy is here with their Brazilian steakhouse theme, and very excited. We'll be announcing other new restaurants soon. But, you know, the thing I would say is that you can count on at least 30 bands that have never played before at the event, some of the top bands in Metro Detroit. We did have Nino and the Buffalo Riders here today, and they're one of the bands that has been with us. We are going to have the Onion Creek Singers, who did a tremendous honor song, Native American honor song from the Saginaw Chippewa tribe. That was incredible. They are going to be on Culture on 4th, presented by Flagstar Bank. And really, I would just say it's a culture of the senses. Every time you turn a block, there's a new smell, a new sound, a new sight, and the people watching is best ever. 400,000 people enjoying their Labor Day weekend, all expressing themselves and having a great time and a peaceful atmosphere. It's what we live for.
And just to give people some baselines, the dates and times and costs and all that kind of stuff.
Sure. August 30th through September 2nd are the dates. Friday is free before 5. Otherwise, it's 7 after 5. And anyone who wants to come early during the festival gets a break as well. It's $3 before 3, $5 before 5. Parking is everywhere. We say support the Royal Oak parking structures, as that money goes toward Royal Oak law enforcement. But parking is $15 and available. 11,000 spaces are available around the downtown. It's one of the easiest festivals to park and walk into. There's 13 gates and 18 blocks of the downtown, and everything's at artsbeatseats.com.
Nice to hear about the things they're doing for families with autistic kids. Very thoughtful of them. What else do they have planned for this year's event?
Well, and I didn't know this until today, Oakland County Community College is the biggest educator of first responders in Oakland County. They're making their driving simulator available to the public, and that's going to be really cool. You can experience driving an ambulance, and I like this idea, especially without having to do that whole, actually save lives part. I don't think I'd be very good at that.
Yeah, driving an ambulance would be pretty fun. Too bad you can't drive a real one, but...
There's also a Touch-a-Truck event for the kiddos with a big old fire truck, and more than 40 restaurants to try, because I always love food. And here's the thing, a Zumbathon.
Wow. Was Jazzercise not available or what?
Well, there is that Jazzercise place up the roads here in Royal Oak. From an economic development perspective, the festival draws in a lot of money. $10 million into the city of Royal Oak and $25 million to Southeast Michigan, and that's according to some Oakland County officials that were there.
So, Jared, sounds good, and I'm looking forward to the festival, but I got to say, this event is officially known as the Soaring Eagle Arts Beats and Eats presented by Flagstar, which is, quite a mouthful. 2 corporate names for one event, follows up on the Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix presented by Lear Corporation. I mean, this seems to be all the rage now, huh?
Well, Sven, the thing is that I actually have something to tell you.
What's that?
I was thinking about changing the name of the show to the Milo Digital Agency Daily Detroit Podcast, brought to you by Repurpose and a number of great Patreons.
Let's hold off on getting the new business cards with that name, okay, until we talk about this.
Yeah, no, not all of my ideas can be gold. We're done for today.
I'm Sven Gustafson. Thanks so much for listening to Your Daily Detroit. Thanks so much to all of our great supporters on Patreon. You too can join us there at patreon.com/dailydetroit.
And I'm Chair Stays. Take care of each other, and we'll see you around Detroit.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Look at the squirrels, man. Those are sweet.